Good evening. I saw somebody from Abuja. Good evening, Nairobi, Mombasa, Migori. Good evening. I haven't seen Tanzania yet, but I'm sure there's somebody from Tanzania and Uganda. We want to welcome you to this to hand over to my best friend, my business partner, and our founder in the business, Betty. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's good to see you, everyone. I know you are muted, but I think I'll speak on all your behalf. That it's good to spend another Thursday evening together. And we are starting a new cycle. I think we explained last time that we'll be having a 6-week cycle. After 6 weeks, we start again. But each time we'll try to keep it, to add a little bit of information just so that it is not too monotonous. And always keep in mind that the reason why we keep on repeating is that repetition is the mother of learning. And we keep on having new people in our business. So it is mainly for them that we keep on repeating, and also for ourselves that we keep on learning and expanding our knowledge and also reminding ourselves. So today we are going to talk about goal setting, which as Paul mentioned, we mentioned, I think about 2 weeks ago, that the importance of setting goals, but we did not go too much into it. So I thought that today maybe to go a little bit deeper. My part will be mainly more theoretical. Pascal is going to have a session which is going to be more practical on what to precisely do in your business. So the first thing I wanted to share is the importance, first of all, when you sit down to make your goals, the first thing you need to do, and I also need to do, is to think about my vision. What is your vision for yourself? What is my vision for myself? Who do I want to become? Of course, some of us are older, some of us are younger, but whatever stage of life we are in, as long as we are alive, it means that we are still becoming. We are a work in progress. And it's a good thing to try and think, which kind of a person do I want to become? I remember last year in Kisumu during a meeting, and Gao made us laugh when she asked the participants, who do you want to be? Do you want to be a person of mbeho, mbeho, mbeho? Give me, always asking. Or do you want to be the person whom they are going to ask for help, who is going to be called to organize fundraising for schools? Or you be the person who will be the dependent? So just to think about how you see yourself in the future. If your future self met your today self, what would you like the meeting to be like? Who is that person would you like to be you in the future? Once we have established a vision, we can share it, because human beings are social beings, and our vision always involve other people. So for example, who will be involved in the process of you becoming that person? In terms of our new life businesses, of course, our teams are going to be involved in that vision. So for example, for Pascal and myself, you as members of our team, and even those who are from our countries, the different countries we are in, even if you're not in our team, whoever is participating in the work we are doing, you are part of the process of us fulfilling our vision for ourselves, because our vision is to make a positive change in your life in a small way or in a large way. So you are part of the process of us becoming who we are. Each of us needs to think about who will be part of that process. Of course, in our businesses, our distributors are an important part of that, but so also are our customers, and maybe those who say no to us but give us some referrals to speak to. We also need to have a time frame, and in our business we usually say a minimum of 2 to 5 years. And during that time, if you put into practice the things that we are learning, you definitely will begin to see that your business is going in the direction we want. But again, we don't just say, let 2 to 5 years pass and then miraculously things will change. No, what we are saying is that for the person who is working for results and reaching their goals and working towards those goals, they should be looking at no less than 2 years, but between 2 to 5, they should be able to see that they are making a headway in their business. The other thing is in formulating our vision is to think about the obstacles that lie in our path. I know we like to think that everything will go the way we want, and of course we hope that things will go the way that we plan. But it is always a good thing to take into account that there will be obstacles, and obstacles may give us difficulties. But remember that a lot of the growing that we do happens because of those obstacles. They can be learning experiences, they can be strengthening experiences. And it's good if we take into account that they may be there, because then when they come, we don't start thinking of abandoning the business or thinking we have made a mistake or thinking that it is time to quit. We simply realize that, okay, here is an obstacle. Is it a learning experience? Is it something that I could have foreseen, or is it something that I could not have foreseen? For example, no one of us would have foreseen the effects of the coronavirus. Now we have it here. So some things we can prepare for, there are things we cannot prepare for. But we should take into account the fact that there will be obstacles, some which we can identify now, others which may be further down the line, others will take us by surprise. Then the next point I have here is, how is the business going to contribute to the vision that we have? Because remember, as a person, we are not only Neolife distributors. Some of us are parents, some of us are spouses, some of us are community leaders, some of us are leaders in our extended family unit, and so on. So how is the business going to contribute to the person that we see ourselves becoming? For example, if the business provided us with financial freedom, what would that mean? Would it make a significant change for us? For example, I would say that our Neolife business has given us a bigger loudspeaker and platform from which to speak. So for example, in this forum that we are speaking now is because we are distributors. For each of us, as we go out there into the community and into the city, we know that we have something to offer, which is something of value. That is, it can lead us to financial freedom, but it will also lead us to have something to offer the people we come across. Also, some of us may be thinking about the legacy we would like to give, maybe because we are older, maybe because we would like to have a legacy that is combining with our goals. So how will our Neolife business help in creating our legacy? Whether through our finances or through the values that we teach or through the example that we give. All these can actually be a way in which our Neolife business helps us to become who we are and to influence the lives of those around us. Then the next thing about the goals is, how will you measure your progress? How will I measure my progress? Of course, Neolife provides us with a monthly plan at which each month we can gauge our progress. So for example, we have just finished the month of May, and our unit is usually to do a 3 in 30, that is to speak to sponsor 3 people in a 30-day period. That can be a way in which we measure our progress, because our business requires new blood in it. Another way that we measure our progress is whether we are doing the 100 PV. Sorry, I think there was a sound thing there. Just give me a sign if you can hear me. Am I audible? Okay, thank you.
Yes,
thank
we can hear you.
Oh, all right. So I was saying that the 100 PVs a month is another way in which we can gauge our progress. Of course, it doesn't mean that we must only do 100 points. We can, 100 is the minimum. We can work towards a higher point, or we can see whether we are ready to maybe take the next step, so we go to an even higher point and so on. So the 100 PV goal is a good one that we can use to gauge our progress. Then, of course, we have the step ups when the company has got an arrangement, a marketing plan, and where we can see what the next step we are working towards is. This makes it easy for us to set our goals, because our business goals are always related to these three things that I'm talking about: our sponsoring, the PVs that we move, as well as taking our steps. Then the next point is, how attainable are the goals that we set? Remember that we'll set goals in all the important areas of our lives. And we need to think about the goals that we are setting. If the goals are too low, they will not challenge us. And if they are too high, they might discourage us. So it's good to be practical about our goals, and to see if they're actually, to think about whether they're actually attainable. So for example, if a new distributor has just become a director and they say that within 1 month they are going to be PT, this might not be a goal that is easily realized. We can then help them to see how the steps are taken so that they make more realistic goals. But of course, also, if someone is a manager or a senior manager, for them to have a goal of becoming a director in the next few months is quite practicable. So it is our part as distributors and leaders to help the people that we bring in to identify when goals in the business are attainable or not. Remember that here we are not talking about goals in general. We are mainly focusing on the side of our new life businesses. Then we also need to identify the people with whom we should work, because sometimes we can attain a goal, but if we work with other people, we improve our chances of attaining it. So for example, in this case, we are working with Paul and the team, the Neolife team in Nairobi, in order to help us to be able to do training for our teams in the different parts of Africa. And that is identifying people with whom you can work. Maybe now that we are looking towards loosening the constrictions of the COVID, we can see who maybe we can work with in areas where we work. And that way we can find ways and means by which to grow our business or reach our goals more easily. Because people working together, we say that a brother helped by a brother is like a walled city. And in this business, we need to see each other as a family. If we are working in the same country or the same region, we need to have that interest in the success of everyone in it. Therefore, an important part of seeing how your goals can be attained is identifying where it is possible to work with others and who those others might be. And that way we also build relationships that will enrich our lives. Then also in the attainability of goals, so of course, as I said, the company is also there to help. How can we latch onto the company's infrastructure and the things that they've put in place to help us grow our business, so that we can grow our business with the help of Neolife's infrastructure. The next point I have is the one of commitment. We need to be committed to our goals. Whether the goal is big or small, the only way we are going to realize it is if we are committed to it. It is not enough to just say, one day I hope to be a millionaire. One day I hope to build my mom a house. One day I hope my children will be able to say that I've given them a good education. That does not sound very committed. It sounds like a wish, but a goal is not a wish. A goal has to have a plan, and we mentioned before that it has to have a time frame. So to be committed means that we actually plan towards it. It means that if it's something for which we need to save, we have a saving plan. Even in the business, often we need to save up for something. Let us say I'm a new distributor. Quite often I have to save up so that I have enough data, airtime, and so on. As distributors, we also need to be committed to the success of the people we bring into the business, because remember, our success in the business depends on the success of those that we bring into the business. And so it means that we have to be willing to sacrifice ourselves sometimes in order to benefit those that we bring in. We have to teach them, we have to support them, we have to set a good example. All these go towards the commitment to the success of our downline. It's not enough to bring someone in. You know, we are encouraging that we make name lists, and we keep on expanding our name lists, and then we speak to those people, and then some of them will be interested in joining our organization, but it doesn't end there. If I get on 3 in 30, I just have 3 new people in the business. I have not yet helped them to tap into the new opportunity that they have. I need to be committed to help them as far as they can. This, of course, can sometimes be difficult because a new person might be ignorant, might get easily discouraged, and so on. But as their sponsor, it is my responsibility to be there where they need me to be, and to help them grow, and also to let them grow. When they are ready to operate on their own, I should not stand in their way. Because like a parent, we raise our children, but when they reach the age of majority, we start giving them more autonomy. So the same with the people that we bring in, to be committed to their success. Initially, success means helping them a lot. As they begin to be more confident in their business, being committed to their success means letting them fly and succeed. Then the next point I have is, as we are setting goals, we need to think about the consequences of failure. If we fail in our goal, will it matter? Do we actually think it's important that we succeed in our business? Do we think that if I'm a successful Neolife distributor, it's going to make an important change in my own life and the life of those people around me? For example, if I just want to succeed in the business so that I can impress my neighbors, well, if I don't succeed, it's a very small thing because I simply won't impress my neighbors. But if I think that our products are important in improving the health of people in our continent, if I think that out there is someone who's looking for an opportunity, and I have an opportunity that would actually help them, if I think that by being financially successful, I can be a more useful and influential member of my community, then my success or failure is very important. And that should be a driving force for us to work. Because as a parent, for example, ourselves with our 4 children, although our children are grown up and we only have one who is still in college, the truth of the matter is they rely on our example, they rely on what we do in order to see how the adult life is lived. Just the same with our distributor. We take very seriously how our distributors see us. We would like you to see that this opportunity is an honorable way of earning a living. It's a way of earning a living that will make a positive difference in the people whose lives we touch. It is a way to ensure our own health and so on. So we should think, if our goals or our vision does not matter whether we achieve it or not, then when challenges come, when obstacles hit, we may just decide to give up or to just let it go. But if we think that this is an important thing for me to succeed in, then we will keep on going and rising above the challenges. Then I think I'm concluding here just by saying that in our goals, we need to also be accountable. How am I going to be accountable? Because of course I can make my goals, and when it's not working out well, I might just say, what does it matter? After all, it is my business. If I want to build it, I'll build it. If I don't want to build it, I won't build it. Those goals don't seem like they're working. Maybe I'll just give up. But if I have taken into account the fact that accountability is important, then I look for a way to be accountable. So maybe you can be accountable to your upline. You can plan with your upline. I've got these are my goals for the month of June, or these are my goals for this year, or this is my vision, and I want you to help me to be accountable to these goals. And that way it gives us an extra person to help us to remember that we actually have got important things to achieve in our business. Then finally, how do we frame our goals? I've got 5 points here I wanted to share. The first is that we should frame our goals in a positive way, not a negative way. So for example, I don't say that I don't want to be broke next month. Rather, it's better that I say I want to earn such and such a number of shillings in the month of June. So a positive way of framing our goal gives us also a positive mindset. Then the next point about framing our goals is they should not be contradictory, because as we said, we'll have goals in all the important aspects of our life. For that reason, we need to consider the other goals as well. So for example, if my goal is to spend a certain amount of time, family time with my family, then it will affect the amount of time that I have for my business, the amount of time that I have for my job, and so on. So if the goals are contradictory, something is going to have to give way. Then also in framing our goals, we should add details. So for example, if one of our goals is to take our family on a lovely holiday, then we can share with the family and have some details. Maybe we can discuss where we would like to go, what we would like to do, and so on. Those details make the goal come alive. If it is maybe a goal like doing something important for my community, I can also make it look for ways in which I put details into it so that it seems and appeals to me in a more realistic way. Then, of course, the final thing to say is that after all this, we need to actually write the goals down. Because sometimes we dream about it, think about it, toss it around in our minds, and then we fail to write. And then maybe a month or two down the line, we have completely forgotten what the goals were. And then we think, maybe it doesn't matter. If I've forgotten, it can't have been that important. So I think the importance of writing the goals is that we can go back and see what they are, how they are going, and so on. So the noting, and these days with all the devices we have, it's quite easy for us to save our goals and revisit them every so often. So that is all I had to share with you this evening. I hope that it has been of some use to you. And I want to thank you very much for being with us this evening. And I then want to hand you over to my best friend here, my very good business partner and partner on the road of life. He has got a lot to share with you, especially the practical side of how we are going to go about making a success of our business. Thank you very much, everyone.
Good evening, everybody. You must agree with me that I'm a very lucky man, isn't it? So what I'd like to share with you now is some ideas about how to build your business. Betty has talked to you about he's talked to you about goal setting. What I'd like to do now is, one of the most important things about our business is how to find prospects, because the lifeblood of our business is new people. The lifeblood of your body is eating food every day. If you don't eat, you starve. And if you starve too much, you die. Our business is exactly the same. We need to prospect and get new people in the business every single month. So how do you find prospects and invite them to see our business? The first thing we need to do is to, let me just put this on slide first. Yeah, so the important thing I would like to bring to your attention is this. It's very important that we know how to find prospects and we know how to invite them. They say that the gateway skill to network marketing or to our business is how to invite people to see the business. The first thing, of course, is you need a list of at least 100 people on your name list. How do you get those 100 names? I think all of you who are attending this training session, you will agree with me that you have a smartphone. If you go to a place in your smartphone called contacts, you will get at least 500 names. Some of you have at least 1,000. Some of you have 2,000. Like myself, if I go to my contact list, I have 2,000 names of people that I know. Start from there. Sometimes when you start the business, you think, but I don't know 100 people. Psychologists have done studies and have found out any adult beyond the age of 21 knows 2,000 people by the first name. So sit down and write a long list, at least a list of 100 people. The second thing about finding prospects is do not judge. The people actually that you think are not going to do the business are the ones who actually become successful. So do not prejudge anybody. I remember when we were new in the business, there are some people I hesitated to contact in the business, and 2 weeks later, I saw them in a meeting and they had been sponsored by others. And that made me feel really bad. And from that time, I learned my lesson that every person I think of speaking to, I contact. Whether they say yes or no, that is immaterial for me. The idea is I need to show them the business. So do not prejudge. Secondly, add 2 names to your list every single day. Why? Because every single day, you at least meet new people that you didn't know before. So take time and add 2 people to your list. The other thing that I've found that is very useful for me to get new contacts is to have a business card. If you don't have a business card, go and make one. I'm not sure how much it costs in Kenya or Tanzania or Nigeria. In South Africa, to get 250 business cards cost me about 300 rand. And you see, that is a big investment in your business. It's not a lot of work. If you don't know how to make a business card, go to the company's back office. There is a format on how to make business card. Just put in your details, send it to your company that makes cards, and they will make a card for you. So the reason why you need a business card, it makes it easy for you to get people's contacts. Think about this. You are in a restaurant and somebody is sitting next to you and you start a conversation. It's very awkward to just ask the person, can you give me your phone number? That sounds very odd. And in fact, it's a bit intimidating. But if you turn around to the person and say, oh, by the way, I'm running a business. Do you have a business card? That is very simple, very clear, and it's a very easy way to get details of new prospects. So you exchange business cards and write them on your list. And before 24 hours elapse, please give them a call. Why? Because after 48 hours or 72, they may not remember who you are. But if you call them immediately, they will remember. And then learn to start conversations with people that you meet in the streets, in the banks, in the doctor's room, anywhere where you can meet people, in the plane, in the bus. Make it a habit of starting a conversation with people with the idea of exchanging contacts. I rarely discuss business with people I know for the very first time. Why? Because you need to take time and explain the business before you actually before you get to know them. It's better to share the business with somebody you know a little bit than to share with a total stranger. And then ask family members, friends for referrals. These are people who are not interested in the business, okay? Because some of these people who are not interested in the business will give you leads that may lead you to your first diamond or your first PT. You never know. So keep asking for referrals. And then attend events, function, community events to get to know new people. And because these places where you meet people are the places where you're going to get new downline, okay? Once you've written your name list, the next skill you need to, or the next activity you need to get involved in is inviting. Inviting is a skill. I think yesterday, most of you attended the Rico Brown session. And there are over 700 people on that conference, that training event. And the one thing that I picked up from Rico, which I agree 100% is, number one, practice using the phone. The phone will not bite you. Practice using, even if there is nobody, practice using it. Secondly, prepare well for the call. That is a thing that I picked up from Rico Brown yesterday. In fact, some of the new people will know in our business that when you give me a prospect's name, the first thing I ask you, give me background information about the prospect. Why is that important? Because it creates rapport. It makes the conversation very easy. For example, if you're speaking to a prospect and your downline says, okay, give me information about your prospect. They tell you, this prospect of mine, I've been in the business before and they're very negative. That prepares me to deal with a question the prospect will ask. Or if there's somebody who has been retrenched or whatever has happened in that person's condition, then you tailor make the conversation to suit the person's situation. And that makes the conversation much more effective. So prepare well for the call. Something else that Rico Brown said yesterday is, don't call a prospect thinking that, I'm just going to say no. For me, when I call a prospect, I actually get surprised when they say no. Why? Because I tune my mind to the effect that this person is my next distributor in the business, because I believe I'm giving them something of worth. I think, let me rephrase that statement. Do not apologize or seem apologetic from calling people. For me, it is a great privilege that Jen Kibera called Betty to show her this business. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Most of you would not be here. Okay, so don't apologize for making calls or calling prospects. Call a prospect, ask them, this is Pascal, do you have a moment to talk? And the reason you do that is because you are telling the prospect that you value their time, that you respect their time. So ask the prospect, do you have a moment to talk? When you've done that, then tell them about the business. Okay? The inviting process is you invite the person to a one-on-one event, a one-on-one presentation, to an event, to a Zoom meeting, whatever it is. The idea is to initially pick their mind. And let me make a comment about the video that we're using at the moment to share with prospects. That video actually doesn't explain how the business works. So I have spoken to a number of distributors who tell me, but I sent the video to a prospect and they tell me they don't understand. That is quite correct. That video is not meant to explain the business to prospect. That video is meant to prepare their mind to be curious to find out more about our business. So send the video. After they've seen the video, that's when you can actually explain the business. So the video is a tool for capturing their interest so that they can ask more questions. The other thing about inviting is learn to build relationships. Why is that important? Because the glue of our business is relationships. Gary Brasfield says many times, you build this business one relationship at a time. One relationship at a time. So take time to learn how to build good friends. Take time. You see, if you want good friends, you need to become one yourself. Think about it. How would you like others to treat you? If you want them to treat you well, treat them also well. So that is about inviting. There's an inviting formula. If you go to the Getting Started document of Neolife, read about how to actually invite people for the presentation. Okay? After this, I want to share with you something called the 90. I'm sure some of you have been in this business for quite a long time. As most of you noticed that I've got quite a bit of white hair. I think one time when let me just stop sharing the screen first. The day I actually got quite aware of the color of my hair I went to Nairobi. Those of you who come from Nairobi know this, that I took a matatu from South B going to town. If you don't know Nairobi, in Kenya we use matatus as taxis. In South Africa or in Nigeria you call them bus. I took a matatu from South B going to town for a meeting. And then I sat at the front seat, and a taxi or a matatu told me, "Where Buddha ka pale mbele." Those who are in Nairobi know what this means. In English, it says, "You old man, go and sit at the front there." So I turned around to check, wondering, is he talking to me or is he talking to somebody else? Then he repeated, "You old man, go and sit at the back there." That is the first time I knew that I was growing old. Okay, so those of you who have got white hair like me, I need to tell you that, God willing, I have 30 more years of hard work left in me. Secondly, last week I saw the presentation of the bonus checks to the president, team members, and the Diamond directors. And the Diamond director from Nigeria, Afiz, a 5-diamond director, he said something that struck me. He said, "Look, I'm starting the business again. I'm a 5-diamond, but I'm starting the business again." For me, that is what I feel. I feel that I'm starting the business afresh. Betty and I started the business yesterday, and we are just beginning to go. We are raring to go. So I'm going to share with you something called a 90-day challenge. Okay? Just one moment. I need to put the slideshow. Okay. This is what a 90-day game plan looks like. You see, if you are in the plane, let me assume that you are in Nairobi or Dar es Salaam or Lagos, and you want to fly to South Africa. Your plane is on the runway, and the pilot needs to be able to take off and get to Johannesburg. If he's going to take off from the runway, what percentage of throttle do you think he needs to put? Is it 20%? If he puts 20%, he'll just crash onto the building in front of it. If he puts 30%, the same. If he puts 80% of throttle, he will still not have liftoff. The pilot has to put full throttle for the plane to gain enough momentum to clear the buildings and actually get in the air. And when he's in the air, he doesn't have to put full throttle anymore. He can actually reduce the intake of fuel to about 50–60% so that he goes on a cruise mode. That is the same with our business. That is the same with our 90-day game plan. It simply means the next convention we are going to have is in East Africa on the 12th of September. In South Africa, we're supposed to have it on the 22nd of August, but I'm not sure that will happen because of the lockdown regulations. In Nigeria, I think it's the same. It may not happen. But in Kenya, in East Africa, the convention is on the 12th of September. So my thinking is this. I'd like you to take the next 90 days and put everything that you have in your being in this business. If you are told that your future depends on the 90 days you're going to spend in this business, what are you going to do about it? Are you still going to talk to one person every 4 days or 5 days? Are you going to be looking at your products and say, "Oh, who needs my product?" I'm sure you're going to prepare a 90-day game plan and pull all stops so that the time by the convention comes, if you're a new distributor or a manager or a senior manager, when the convention comes, you're a director. If you're an emerald director now, you are going to put all stops so that by the time the convention comes, you've already taken either the 3 steps to Sapphire or 2, or at least you've done 1 step to become a Sapphire director. If you're a 1 ruby or 2 ruby, you put all the stops so that by the time the convention comes, you're ready to go to the next level. But what is the plan that I want to suggest the following plan. It's a phase plan. There are 4 phases of this plan. The first phase is a preparation phase, where I want to recommend that the next 1 week, between now and next week, Wednesday, if you're a new distributor, an old distributor, if you've been doing the business as long as you have been doing 24 years, sit down and write a name list of at least 200 to 300 people. Why? Because we are going to go into overdrive in this 90 days. Number 2, negotiate with your family and plan your time so that you do not neglect your family, you do not neglect your duties, but the time that you leave aside for doing the business, you do nothing but the business. Not busy work, but you do work which is focused. I remember when I was a child, we used to play with magnifying glasses. If you take that magnifying glass and you move it around, it will not set fire on the paper. But if you hold it still, after a few minutes, you see the paper burning. Why? It's called focus. So I'd like you to take time and create space, create time, take out your diary and block time for doing the business. The other part of phase 1 is create your captivating story. And my captivating story is this. I'm going to approach the next process that I'm starting a project called the 10,000 Project. What is that 10,000 Project? 10,000 Project is you want to have 10,000 new people in our business in the next 12 months. Are you party to that project? So create your own story of what you want to achieve with this 90-day game plan. And then the last thing of the first phase of preparation is you need to recruit serious people to commit to the business. When I say recruit, I mean that you need to identify people in your group or in your downline who wants to make a commitment. Betty spoke to you about commitment. Commitment is not a wish. In fact, the person who brings this message to me very clearly is Lisa Nichols. He says commitment and convenience do not share the same bed. If you want to be committed, forget about convenience. Okay? So look for people that want to commit to this 90-day plan in a serious manner. Then you go to phase 2, it's called a pre-launch. Pre-launch is about 30 days. What do you do during these 30 days? You start a calling blitz. That means every single day you call at least 10 people, because remember at the top I said you need to put your name list to about 200 to 300 people. Every day make a goal to call to 10 people with the idea to set 3 or 4 appointments every single day. Because if you call 10 people, not all the 10 are going to give you an appointment. All right? Or not all the 10 are going to come to the Zoom meeting. But start a calling blitz. Help with the important thing is this, and this is something I've learned during this lockdown of COVID-19. In fact, I think this Corona thing has been a great blessing to our business. I have learned the power of having a daily schedule. Exact time you wake up, exact time you do your chores, exact time you have breakfast, and then you block out time to do your business. Not busy work, but doing a business. And the first important thing is to call prospects. The other thing I want to suggest to especially the World Team leaders, add a small promotion to your group. For example, Betty and I have got a nursery. A nursery are the people in our business who have not become directors. We are going to have a small promotion for them so that it encourages them to work harder in the business. An example, if somebody personally sponsors 3 people for the month and does at least 250 points, we can say, okay, we'll give you airtime of 500 shillings or 1,000 shillings. You as a World Team leader, choose a small promotion for your group, okay? Then as you start this 90-day period, you will find other people who are also interested in joining this 90-day challenge. So multiply the number of serious people who want to take part. Then you move to phase 3. Phase 3 is building momentum. You know, I remember when I was young, we used to read the story of the tortoise and the hare, and I'm sure all of you remember that story. The tortoise and the hare takes off very fast and falls asleep, eats some carrots, and when he's asleep, the tortoise comes and overtakes him and wins the race. I am sorry to say that story does not serve our business any purpose at all. From my experience of 24 years, this business is more painful to build it slowly than to build it fast. Because building it fast creates a momentum that takes you forward faster. Building it slowly, you tend to always find negative things in the business. So if you bring that story of the tortoise, it doesn't serve our business any purpose. Somebody said this very well and it stuck in my mind. Success loves speed. So I'd like you to join us in this 90-day challenge. Shift the gears. Get yourself seriously committed to speaking to people and showing the plan every single day for the next 90 days. And then have a group of people that you check each other at the end of every week to track your success. Because it's not very easy to work and you're not tracking what your effectiveness is. All right? So if you talk to 10 people and you sponsor 2 or 3, you need to be able to track that figure so that it becomes a lesson for the future, or you can teach people how to do this. So you need to have safety in numbers and track your progress. I think when Betty and I were in Kenya in February, I circulated a document called the 90-day challenge. Speak to your leader, your world team leaders or directors. They have a document called the 90-day challenge. In that document, there are about 12 weeks, 13 weeks that you use to track your progress. And the reason why you need to track your progress, it keeps you focused, okay? And phase 4 of this 90-day challenge is recognition and the final burst towards the convention. That is the last 1 week of August, okay? Because the convention is September. The last week of August is to push everything that you have so that by the end of August, people have made their steps towards the convention. And the convention is on 12th of September 2020 in Dar es Salaam. Okay? I'm sure the people from Tanzania and the Kingus are very happy that the convention is going to Dar es Salaam. Okay? But it may be temporary because I think that Tanzania is flying so much. Tanzania is doing a lot of business. Uganda and Kenya needs to get their act together to push this business to the next level. So that is what I wanted to share with you about the 90-day challenge. And before we proceed, I'd like to hand over this session to Paul so that if there are any specific questions, we'll take 2 or 3 questions before we close our meeting. Paul, back to you.
Thank you so much, Pascal. That was an amazing presentation from you and Betty. I one time listened to the 90 days plan, but today I'm listening to it like I'm hearing it for the first time. I think it's because I can see you very close to me, and I believe everybody who is listening and watching today, that 90 days challenge, it is a starting point there where I recommend each and every one of us to put it into practice. And I can assure you, by September, it's not too late to reclaim, you know, the trophies that Tanzanians took last year. And I'm not saying that with disrespect of what they are doing. As Pascal has noted, they are doing an amazing, wonderful job. So we will take some questions. I think I saw a question popping in sometime earlier in the presentation. Pascal, I'm not sure whether you saw it. Somebody is saying, kindly, it's Catherine, she's saying, kindly outline some of the assistance a downline should enjoy from the upline.
Okay, I think some of the assistance the downline should expect from the upline is very simple. One is guidance. Because new distributors are still new, they don't know how to build a business, the upline should help them to do the first 2 or 3 presentations on their behalf, to pass to them information, give them information about the events that are happening, help them with the encouragement and motivation, guidance about the marketing plan if they don't understand anything. Okay. And I think the most important thing when a new distributor is starting is a kit opening. It's very, very important to open the kit opening properly so that the new downline has an idea on how to open the kit or what our business contains. And kit openings should be at least 2 hours so that, number one, the new downline should know how to order products. Number two, they know what the business terms mean. PV, BV, manager, senior manager, director, emerald. They need to know these terms very well. They need to know the marketing plan. What is a compensation plan? So the kit opening is very, very important on getting the new distributor on the right path. Okay, so take time. It may appear that it's taking longer, but it's better to get the new distributor on the correct path than to leave them alone, that they're going to benefit from the training. Remember, you need to create a good relationships with your downline. So make kit opening a very important aspect of this business. Okay, I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much, Pascal. I think that was loud and clear. And the kit opening is a very good place to start, as Pascal has stated, because that seals the deal. That makes the distributor identify with you and know you're going to help them and you're going to support them in whichever way. There's somebody who has just joined right now. She's Farhat. I think she has just received the link right now, and she's requesting for the notes if they can be shared. We'll appreciate, and she has given us the email. So Pascal, you can be able to note that, but we are also recording this meeting, and I'll make sure by tomorrow morning, we have the record of this meeting, because we cannot start June without this message. We need to start with it, we need to listen to it, and we need to make notes and plan on how we can be able to action right away. So I have Colin saying, a prospect is asking, I think it's the same thing, a prospect is asking for a document to prove that Neolite products work for bone cancer patient. What should I give her? I got a testimony video from Director Olonde, but she still wants more information.
I think that the company has tremendous about scientific literature in relation to cancer. In fact, if you read the Lifestyle magazine has a lot of information in it. So I would suggest they need to speak to the upline sponsor or upline director or world team to get this information. There's a lot of information. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
All right, I think it does. From our literatures, from our website, you can be able to get a lot of information in terms of how the products can help somebody who has cancer. But remember, our products are not medicine. Okay?
Okay.
They're going to help the person, but you need to tell that person they still need to continue with the doctor's treatment and take our products as supplement. So they shouldn't stop what they are taking. They should take it across whatever they have been recommended by the doctor. Somebody else is saying, this is great. I've learned a lot of ideas. Please share the presentation. Olivia, I think that is Anne Abane, is asking, hi, want to ask if at times don't get help from upline, can go cross line. I think she's asking whether she can be able to get help from cross lines.
My advice is avoid going cross line, because it creates challenges. If somebody is not in my team and they seek my advice, I can advise, but I cannot help directly until I get the go ahead from the upline leader. Okay? Why is this important? Because each team has got a very specific way they build the business. Although building the business is a very simple thing, looking for prospects, inviting, showing them, and all that. But there are some small nuances that you need to pay attention to. So I would recommend that if you don't get support from your upline leader, there's somebody up on the upline who is going to help you. Why? Because they're already successful. So keep going up. If you can't get an upline, call Paul and tell Paul, I'm struggling. My sponsor is not helping me. who do you know in my upline who is a serious business builder that will help you?
Thank you, Pascal, for that.
Okay.
Somebody has written privately, I'm Sebastian Baraka and I'm new here, but it's such an interesting lesson, and I'm really willing to learn about this teaching. So I think that could be a prospect. So I think, Pascal, what Sebastian is supposed to do, if you're a prospect, you need to get in touch with the person who invited you in this meeting, and they'll be able to give you more information on how you can be able to join the company and even start understanding of what we are talking about here. And if you're a distributor, Sebastian Baraka, you need to talk to your sponsor. They'll give you more information about what we are talking about here and all this teaching, so that you can be able to understand in totality what we are talking about here. This goes to you, Pascal, from Monica Odhiambo. She's asking, recruiting serious people, how do you gauge this? Kindly elaborate.
You said Monica is the one who asked?
Yes.
Monica, okay, I can give you some indications about a serious person. One, they attend training. Two, they keep asking you for advice, and they want information about how to build a business. Okay? Serious people always give you very clear indications, because those are the ones you need to spend time with. Okay, so I think that it is easy to gauge a serious person. Do they call you often to seeking information? Do they seek your attention and advice? If you do this, I mean, if you pay attention to such things, you will get serious people.
I think also, just to add to that, a serious person, you'll see, takes this business as a business. They don't act as if it's a hobby, and you don't have to keep on following up after them over and over. If you plan with them to do something or to be somewhere, they will be there, or they'll let you know if they can't make it. Just the way you would know someone who is serious about something. Those are the same things you look for in your distributor. If someone is serious about the business, they'll treat it with the seriousness that a person deals with in a business. If you've opened a shop, you would not close it because you did not feel like opening it. You open it every day, no matter what your mood is, no matter what the weather is. Sometimes we act as if our business is not actually a business, it's a hobby. So just think about seriousness in a business. Is the person serious about other things in their lives? Because if they're not serious about other things in their lives, it's likely that they'll carry exactly the same attitude into the business. And you might have to help them to become more mature and more disciplined. But you actually have the time to do that before they become serious as business people. So think about how you see a serious person in other aspects of life. They'll bring that same attitude to their business, their new life business.
Thank you so much, Betty and Pascal, for elaborating on that. I have somebody calling himself Intel P32. He's raising his hand, but he has also asked a question. I believe it's the same thing he wanted to ask. When is the 90 days challenge beginning?
I think the 90-day challenge begins 1 minute after this meeting. The 90-day challenge is aimed at the September convention. So 90 days from now, June, July, and August is the time we need to put really our effort to get the business flying. So that when we go for the conventions, all those people who are new, like the Nabangis I see in the meeting, they are going to be directors in September. Okay, so I think that 90-day challenge stands today.
Thank you so much, Pascal. So it is today. We need to finish this meeting and get down to work right away. I'm going to take one more question from somebody who is raising up their hand. I cannot be able, it's DMX plus something. So I'll just unmute you, then you can be able to give us your question quickly so that we can be able to close our meeting. I'm trying to unmute them. Looks like, yes, now he's unmuted. Please take your question quickly, DM.
Hello, Pascal. Hello.
Yes, we
Hello,
can
good
hear
evening.
you.
I'm called Wasike Titus from Busia, Kenya.
Yes.
Yes, Wasike, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello, Wasike. Hello.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm saying there are some medics that normally challenges the distributor.
Yeah.
But you'll find that on some containers, for example, the TNN pack,
Yes.
there is some writings there that this medicine has not been evaluated by the Medicine Control Board.
Yes.
And then also, they say that this medicine is not intended to diagnose